Israel is pulling out all of the troops from southern Gaza. So far, only one division left. I wonder if they're going to plan massive airstrikes. I mean, the United States gave them a 2,000-pound bomb.
There is breaking news this morning. We are seeing some significant developments out of Israel. The IDF has pulled some forces out of southern Gaza, and Prime Minister Netanyahu said they are one step away from victory. The Israelis will also send a delegation to Cairo to meet with CIA Director Bill Burns and Qatari and Egyptian officials to try to negotiate both a ceasefire and to get the more than 130 hostages believed to be held by Hamas.
Well, except for those that the Israeli government has killed. There was like 3 killed by the IDF after they escaped. And there were several blown up in airstrikes. Well, I think 2 got killed in an airstrike, and 3 were rescued, or 3 got killed and 2 were rescued. I can't remember. And then you possibly got hostages that were killed when the IDF flooded tunnels.
6 months into the war, the Israeli military says they've eliminated 12,000 terrorists in Gaza, but at the expense of thousands of Palestinian lives. The Gaza
Wow, only 12,000 supposed Hamas agents, while the IDF has murdered plus civilians. That's not, that's horrible. Um, that is not something the good guys do. They don't kill 30,000 civilians just to kill 12,000 terrorists.
Health Ministry reports more than 33,000 Palestinians have been killed. The aid organization Save the Children cites the number of children killed in Gaza at 14,000.
Wow, 14,000 kids dead. Uh, Though it's not like the IDF doesn't consider these people to be terrorists either. I mean, what, the IDF one time charged a 5-year-old with terrorism for throwing a rock.
We'll hear from their president later in the broadcast. We begin with our Holly Williams, who's in Tel Aviv. Holly, what can you tell us about these developments and their significance?
Good morning, Margaret. Well, Israel's military says it now only has one division inside the Gaza Strip. The other division that was there has left in the last 24 hours. The remaining troops are all either along Gaza's border with Israel or north of an east-west road that bisects the Gaza Strip. The Israelis built that road recently. It's thought as part of their planning for the day after the war. Now, I spoke with an Israeli
What, the day after the war, where they will try to redevelop Gaza and take control of it for the Israeli government?
military spokesman a short while ago who told me that this is a, quote, evolution of the war effort and not a partial withdrawal. He would not give me any exact troop numbers. My colleague, CBS News producer Marwan Al Ghul, is in southern Gaza, and he says it is now possible to move freely from southern Gaza all the way up to central Gaza, and that has not been possible for the past 3 months.
Holly,
Yeah, because if you tried to move, the IDF would murder you.
there's also a lot of political pressure within Israel right now and these ongoing protests against the Netanyahu government. How is that affecting things?
Well, Margaret, we actually just heard from Prime Minister Netanyahu a short while ago ahead of a cabinet meeting here in Israel. He didn't mention this troop movement at all. In fact, he vowed that Israel would fight for total victory. But he is under enormous pressure, just as this news.
What is total victory for the Israeli government? Every single Palestinian being dead? Because if it takes 32,000 civilians to be murdered to take out 12,000 Hamas, you're gonna need to, kill even more civilians to get rid of the rest of them.
Came out about these troops leaving Gaza. There's also pressure from the right wing on Netanyahu not to give away too much to Hamas in negotiations. And then on the other side of the political spectrum, last night across Israel, tens of thousands of people took part in anti-government protests. Many people here are angry with the government.
I mean, if this is how the police treats people protesting, it's no surprise uh, Palestinians are treated. It's not like the Israeli government even cares about its own people.
With their own leaders for not doing more to bring the remaining hostages home. And here in Tel Aviv, a car rammed into a group of protesters, injuring several people. And opposition leader Yair Lapid said that the incident was, quote, the direct result of rising incitement from the government. So more criticism there for Benjamin Netanyahu. Margaret.
Uh, uh, Check out what the Animal Directive is, something that the Israeli government used in the past, and supposedly, but it's a directive that allows the IDF to kill hostages to prevent the Israeli government from uh, having to bargain with their enemies for hostages.